My bedtime's at 10.
I gotta go to bed, guys.
I gotta go to bed, guys. So the other day I was, you know how like recently I've been speaking of Randy, or I've been speaking of myself in the third person. So it's become,
you've been
like,
doing that like more than just recently.
I know, but it's gotten to a point recently where other people have begun to point it out, and is like, oh, I love that you speak about yourself, because Jesse said that, and then it's also happening at work now.
Yeah.
But so I was talking to Jesse the other day, and we were trying to figure out what his like alternate like persona would be.
James.
It was weird, but we're gonna throw that away. At Barnes and Noble, so there's one of my coworkers. I don't really talk to her that much, but the last time that we worked together, I was trying to be like friendly and joking around with her, trying to make a new friend, because man, work goes by so much faster when you got friends at work. I've only just realized that within the past like month, that like when my friends work, I'm like, man, this is great. I could work every day, and then when they're not, man, somebody kill me, please.
Yeah, please end me. Like, kill me with paper cuts.
Yes. So I was trying to make another friend so that shifts would be easier. And I don't know if she's dating another person at my work, but they're very close.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of them have said they're dating, but they always refer to the other person. They also sit like in their car together. So I'm like, they have to be dating, but I also don't want to assume.
Yeah.
They could be really close friends, whatever. Anyways, so the guy, the last time I worked, which was Sunday, came up to me and was like, can I tell you like something funny that happened? I was like, sure, I guess. I don't really like this guy. And so I was like, fine, just like,
just fucking get it over with.
Just talk to me.
Just talk to me and then leave me alone.
Please leave me. He was talking about how the girl that he's with, air quotes, if he's with her or not, was talking about this Randy person, and this Randy was making her laugh, and I was getting angry. I'm like, now I gotta find this Randy. Like, who the fuck is this Randy? And so that's what he was saying. And so he's playing off of this like persona that Randy is this other character. And I thought it was really fucking funny. And so the whole rest of the day, whenever we'd pass each other, I'd be like, you find Randy yet? No, man. No, but I'm getting leads. Like, what does Randy look like? He's 8 foot, big, beefy guy. Like, man, I hope you don't go up against him, because you're gonna fucking lose. It was great. And he did that to himself. He's like, you could have made Randy anybody. You could have made Randy a 4 foot, like, skinny guy. No, you went 8 foot, beefy. And I gotta protect my lady's honor, and I gotta beat him up. I was like, okay. And every time, because we have headsets as we're walking around, and so people always refer to me as Randy. And then he jumped on, he's like, where's Randy? Who? Randy? It was good. I still don't like him, but he has jokes.
Yeah, I like you like almost less than I did before. It's surprising.
But it was nice before he told me. He was like, I hope you don't find this offensive. And then I was like, I don't find it offensive. You're just making my persona a guy.
Yeah,
that,
you're
like,
lucky that's what it was.
You feel infuriated or inferior to or something.
Anytime someone starts with, I hope you don't think this is offensive, typically it ends up being offensive.
Yeah.
So, lucky you.
I don't know
in
if
that
he
scenario.
was trying to compare me to, like, saying that I had, like, a crush on his girl or something, or, like, trying to say that I had a thing for her, and then tried to, like, make me a guy, or was saying that I was a guy. I don't know what he was... Where was I supposed to get offended in that? And, like, now I'm offended that you thought I would get offended, you know?
If anything, that's the most offensive part.
I don't know what the point of that was. But that's happening, and that's fun.
That is happening, and it's fun.
Yeah.
This is a total random story,
That's
but
okay.
I remember when I was really little, I would go over to a friend's house after church every week. He lived in this sort of like roundabout kind of neighborhood where it was sort of a dead end, but it just really connected back to itself, you know? And so we would not roller skate, but like scooter. I didn't know how to ride a bike until I was like 14. Have I told you that? So I tried.
Do you know how to swim?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually loved swimming when I was a kid. It was close. It was one of the two.
All of my friends don't know how to do one or the other. Like,
really?
They either don't know how to ride a bike or they don't know how to swim, and it boggles my mind because they learned how to do both of those at like age 4.
Apparently, when I was a kid, my parents tried to teach me. I don't know what the circumstances were. I just ended up not being taught. Like either I gave up or they gave up or we both were given up. Doesn't really matter who gave out first, but I just was never taught, and they never sort of cared to teach me.
Mm.
And so I would use a scooter. And there was this house around the corner that had this really yappy, tiny dog.
Okay.
You know, the kind, not a Chihuahua. It was like a, I don't know if
Like
it was
a Yorkie or?
yeah, it was kind of a mix. It was definitely Yorkie-ish. But the only time I really got a good look at it was when it was chasing me down the
Oh my
road.
God.
I was like 9, 10, and fearing for my life because a dog was chasing me. It was vicious dog. It was
A tiny little dog?
when you're tiny, it looks bigger. Okay.
Okay.
I just remember I had to scooter around the corner and I was coming to go visit. We had another friend that lived around the corner to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were going around and I just hear whoop, 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 and then no, and then poof, and then this dog comes running after me,
Oh
barking its head off. It's like, ruff, 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 and I'm like, and I'm on a scooter.
Yeah.
So the only way for me to go faster is to basically run and like
Yeah.
scoot and then put my foot forward.
To get your foot in the line of fire.
Yeah, and so this dog is running up like at my heels because you can't go fast in a scooter. I could probably have run faster than I was scooting on this bumpy ass gravel road.
Scooting.
Yeah. And so this dog is like right on my heels until finally I get around the corner, and for some reason it's like I give up. You've been 2 feet ahead of me this whole time.
Ah, you human, you passed my line. I can't go past the street.
I can't go past 3 houses
My
down.
mommy won't let me.
It's my dead time.
Okay.
And then I finally made it to my friend's house, and the other friend had taken a bike, so he was way ahead of me.
He was gone.
He was gone.
Heard that first bark and was like, I'm out.
I'm out. Peace. Good luck. And so he gets
in the line of fire.
left me in the dust. I didn't even care.
I don't have to be fast. I just have to be faster than you.
I finally get to the house and he's like, hey, what took you so long? And I was like, I was viciously attacked by a dog.
Man, you left me out there with a scooter.
All I had was a scooter and my wits.
Oh my gosh.
And I was being a rebel. I wasn't even wearing a helmet. And so I was probably going to die.
Well, man, you weren't wearing a helmet? That's unsafe.
Anyway, this is Media for the Intellectually Impoverished. I'm Taylor.
I'm Randy.
And this is the podcast that
enriches your mediocre lives. That was good. What made you think of that story?
I don't know. You were just telling a story, and then my brain was like, I don't know. Maybe I should think of a story.
I want a story.
Yeah, and then it just came up with that one.
Randy can't do anything without Tayler following suit.
I was like, you told a story. I told a story. Even funnies. Let's start the episode.
But you could have found a better segue. Like maybe you have an alternate personality that we should leave our door open. If they're gonna leave their door open and fucking laugh, we should leave our door open and laugh.
I know exactly who it is too.
Oh no, I know who it is. I hope the people that are in there right now listen to this episode and know that we're talking about this.
I hope that every time we do this bit, it's not a bit.
Every time this happens?
Yeah.
What? You didn't finish your sentence. You hope that every time we do this bit, what?
I hope that, I hope that thing that you said every time we do this bit.
Oh.
It was not that. I hope that whenever we do this bit with something, it was. Okay. I was connecting it to your.
That,
yeah. I hope that thing.
Gotcha. That did not come across.
No,
what are we talking about today, Taylor?
We're talking about the Batman.
Woo! We're gonna make it.
Yeah, we're gonna make it. This is gonna go up in like 2 weeks.
No, so. This should be the first one that you edit.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Then I'll do that.
So because we can jump on the train.
Mm-hmm. We're on a train.
I've always wanted to ride a train.
Have you? I've been on a train twice in my life.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of things in your life that surprised me. And you've also been to New York and you've seen a Broadway musical.
Yeah,
and
multiple.
Me and Josh were talking about that the other day, that we both love musicals, arguably more than you do. And
Fair.
You're the only person who's actually seen a musical on Broadway.
I did. I really did enjoy it. It was a fun time. We went to a whole bunch of all of the museums up there, which I loved, the Science Museum and the Natural History Museum and the Smithsonian and all that stuff.
So you got to see the cool stuff. When I was in New York, all I got to see was Times Square because I had a wedding to go to.
Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't have much free time. So a lot of it was us actually in reception or rehearsals or in the hotel or hanging out with family members.
We got a hotel that was a 1-bedroom like hotel that was about the size of this room that we're in right now.
No way.
Yes, absolutely.
No way.
Yes.
You can't fit more than 3 people in here.
It was, our table was the bed.
No.
That was the length of that windowsill. And it spread almost to the end right here where my mic is. That was where they slept, and I slept on like a fucking unfoldable couch cushion that was on the one chair.
But that wasn't your whole room.
That was the whole room. And then there was a bathroom that was connected that was, I mean, just typical, like, it was like shower toilet.
No, but you can't live in this space.
We did. It was this size. That was our hotel room.
I don't believe you for 1 minute.
I am telling the absolute truth. There was not walking room in this room.
So you have the door there, okay, and then you have like a door over to a bathroom there, and that's it. Like, and you had to rent, and this was a hotel room.
Yeah, and it was on it was like 2 blocks away from Times Square, 2 or 3 blocks.
Who the fuck would build a hotel?
It was an old place.
Who the fuck?
It was old.
Would build a hotel like that? I
don't know, but that's what it was. I don't even know if it was initially a hotel. It might have initially been like apartments, you know, and then they changed it.
Because if it was an apartment, the room would be so much bigger.
There was, I mean, that's just what it was.
Okay.
It's just what it was. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Okay.
I was in the room. The room was that size.
We got way off.
The Batman.
The Batman.
I loved it. I thought it was an amazing representation of the Batman. I think it was a new fresh take on the Batman that went in the correct directions, not only cinematically, but also narratively.
Okay.
As well as the acting was completely just on point the entire time. I thought that the delivery was exactly what I expected when I saw the trailer. I don't feel like I was misled by anything. And I left just as happy, if not happier, than I went in. I love how you have to talk into the mic when you mm-hms.
Well, because they gotta know what look, you can see the mm-hms.
I can see the mm-hms. I know. I'll see them again in about a week.
I don't like being the person always on the opposition, but I feel like that makes these episodes good. Mm-hmm. It's because then we have something to actually discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Look here, man. I will stop right now, and you will only have 18 minutes of content.
Pocket change, baby.
So I hadn't seen any of the trailers for it. I didn't keep up with it as much. The only thing that I heard about it was that Robert Pattinson was going to be in it, and that it was an emo Batman.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to be an origin story.
Yeah, which is, I think, amazing. I thought that was a good idea.
No, I definitely think so. And I think that really worked. That's one of like the big takeaways that I loved about, I mean, it's not like a big shock factor, but that was what I think the film did really well in moving the character of Batman further along. Because we've had like, I know we've talked about it before, and we talked about this. No way. I'm sorry. When we've talked about this before. I mean, not the movie, obviously, but we've talked about in multiple episodes the fact that the Batman is coming out one day. And I think we talked about it in like our second episode.
We did. And you were talking about that to me the other day when we talked about, it wasn't the second, but it was pretty early on.
It was like, no, because we talked about superheroes really early on.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about like action. No, we talked about superhero movies, like the 4th episode.
Yeah.
And we talked about how I was excited that I wanted a Batman that was more like the Joker that had recently come out during the time, like 6 months prior, that was very serious and talked about mental health and everything.
And
I wanted, and what?
And it was just like not I don't know what I was going to say.
And I wanted a Batman that like paralleled that and would be just as serious and just as like thought-provoking. And now here we are.
Here we are.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane? We've come so far.
It is. So those are the only things that I knew, and I was very happy with. I liked the movie. I can find caveats that I didn't particularly like. But I didn't finish my thought earlier about. I like that it wasn't an origin story. I like that we started in the middle. We started with people already like disliking Batman, that he had already been in this for a while. When they say emo Batman movie, this is my caveat. That is exactly what it is. And Victoria asked me yesterday, because she called me and said, "Did you end up seeing it?" I saw the movie by myself, but it was nice. Because I was at work and I thought I really want to go see it. And I asked my brother, I asked Victoria, and both said no. And I was like, "That's fine. I'm gonna go by myself." And the whole time I was very nervous. Obviously, I'm a woman with anxiety, and I was like, going to a place by myself could die. Really, truly could die.
Really, truly could die.
But the hardest thing was, and I kept like on my way to the theater, I was like, the hardest thing is I have to just get in the theater. Once I'm in the theater, I think I'll feel safe. I'll be okay. Getting from the parking lot into the seat of sitting. So not just in like with this concession stand, getting in the seat. That was completely nerve-wracking. As soon as I just sat down and started watching the movie, it was fine. Completely forgot that I was by myself. He's like a teenager. He's an adult. And you know that he has love interests and he has like a job or whatever. Like you know he's an adult. Robert Pattinson, like Bruce Wayne at this time, is an adult. The way that he speaks, the lines that he says are so cheesy. Like, and he has a little diary. He's like, sometimes I have to write things down to remember. And it's like, look, man, I am going through my emo phase now and like making little journals on my phone about how I'm feeling. I'm like, this is what are you doing, man? This is gross.
I like it. I like that this style. I feel like I don't even think it pulls off as like awkward. I can see the emo aspect. A lot of it for me, I liked the journal entries because it's more of like film noir kind of stuff, which is where the movie was heading. Instead of being so like action. Like Chris Nolan's was an action movie. This movie was a noir. It was a drama.
Movie.
It was a drama. It was a noir. And I liked that style of Batman because it really sort of focused more, especially with the villain being the Riddler, it focused more on Batman's ability to solve puzzles and to connect dots and stuff, which we don't see
he's
a
lot.
lot.
He's a lot more brain than brawn in this. He still has the brawn,
He's
obviously.
still very brawny.
No, but you do get to see a lot more of the like the brainy aspect of it. And he reminded me, I mean, in the last episode we talked about, or not the next episode we talk about mysteries in Sherlock. He reminded me a lot of Sherlock in the way that he was solving the puzzles at the very beginning, thinking of things that other people didn't quite see yet. Thumb drive. That's so.
Thumb drive. Someone in the audience when I watched that audibly groaned.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Okay. The people next to me would not stop laughing. Like the movie's not. It is cheesy, and there are some scenes like there's some lines that are like throwaway lines, and I'm just like, okay, that was dumb. But never at any point in that movie was I like, oh, this is funny. I'm gonna laugh. Like, never. But they were constantly, and I just wanted to like, shut the fuck up.
What the fuck are you laughing?
What? This isn't funny. This is like, it's drama. It's deep. It's emo. It's like, and then I had this whole group of people sitting way down in the very front of because I was on like the front before the stairs, and then you have the front. They were all sitting down there laughing the entire time. One guy was smoking in the theater. And I didn't know, and all of us can see it because we can all see it because he's in the very fucking front of the theater, like and you can all see the smoke like rise up. And I don't. What do you do? I wasn't gonna get up and miss half the movie to try and tell somebody, hey, there's somebody smoking in there. So I just dealt with it. And then that same fucking guy halfway through the movie fell asleep and started snoring. And I'm telling you, started fucking snoring loud. The whole theater could hear him. And nobody in that front row was like, hey, let's wake up our friend. Like, he's kind of being annoying. No, they're like, let's let him fucking sleep. That man's tired.
We had someone fall asleep. Granted, I saw it. My group of people saw it at like 11:45. It started. It's a 3-hour movie, so it ended at like 2:45, 3 in the morning. And so one guy fell asleep during our movie, and like at one of those really quiet pivotal moments, we hear, and everyone turned and looked to see who was making that noise. Luckily, it wasn't anyone from our group. It was someone that was sitting right above us, though.
Yeah, but after he'd been snoring for a while, one of the people finally at the end, all the way at the fucking end of the row, got up, walked up to him, was like, man, wake the fuck up, and like hit him. It was so good. But you couldn't, like, anybody who's sitting at the way top of the theater couldn't hear him because he like whispered it. He was like, man, wake the fuck up, and like smacked him. And then he went back to sleep and kept snoring. Anyways, it's an emo Batman. One of the like pitfalls, but it is a more like human like telling of Batman, which I really like you were getting at with it's still action packed, but we get the more emotional side of him and what like the internal toll that it takes to be Batman. Yeah,
like what it looks like to be both Bruce and Batman, and like sort of that. We don't see a whole lot of his Bruce Wayne.
We don't. He's kind of given that up, which is something that you don't see in the other Batman because he balances the two.
We do. I think that Chris Nolan's does an amazing job of portraying the balance between the Bruce Wayne and the Batman, especially going on and like through the series. I think that Bruce Wayne is very much like the playboy philanthropist, and then that Batman is able to be the dark side of that, like because of how light the Bruce Wayne is. But I think that this is also an early Batman. I guess Nolan's Batman was early as well. We don't like because we have Batman Begins, and then that's literally the beginning of Batman. But yeah, I can see the take on this where like there are times in the comics when, and we even saw the same thing in Spider-Man No Way Home, where it's like the giving up the personal life in order to pursue the justice and you know, the vengeance that he portrays, right? But I love the two opening sequences. The initial opening sequence, by the way, we should probably have given a spoiler warning, but we figure if you've made it this far, you've probably seen the movie or realized that it's going to be chock full of spoilers. I don't think we've
really spoiled anything so far. I was thinking, I mean, we can go ahead and do that now, but I was thinking we'd give like a general, like our feelings of it, and then we could go into spoiler territory, which will be now.
Yeah,
spoiler alert.
Territory. The two opening sequences. The first one is the first killing by the Riddler, and it's, you know, you seeing him. I love that sort of slow reveal.
That was so good. That was so good, and nobody in the theater like acknowledged it. It was so good.
Yeah, like the first time you see the Riddler, he's like in the background. You can't really notice him, and then it sort of pans back. Like everyone in the theater gasped because
nobody in my theater made any noise.
Because you can kind of see. So the Riddler wears like a mask, and then on top of the mask, he wears a set of glasses that look almost like mine.
Yeah, except he has clear frames.
You could see the reflection in his glasses, and everyone was like, "Ooh!" And I didn't see it
because he's wearing like all black, so literally all you can see of him is his eyes, and it's so. And then you can make the rest of the silhouette. So good.
Yeah, that reveal is really nice. Good. And then the next scene where it sort of sets the tone of Gotham and the tone of the Batman is with Batman narrating very noir style. He's like, I'm the darkness, I'm the shadows, I can't be everywhere at once, but what I represent is enough to make people fear committing crimes. And it shows this sequence of 3 sets of criminals where when they see the bat signal up in the air, they sort of like freak out and they're like, well, I can't commit crimes. What if the Batman comes after me?
Gets me, yeah.
And so they stop doing crimes.
I like that aspect of it, that he's so far along in his story that like people actually fear him, but it's to an extent of like even good people, like because it starts off with a mugging, and even the guy after he beats all of the like criminals, the guy who's getting mugged, please don't hurt me. Like, yeah. I wasn't gonna hurt you, man.
Yeah,
like,
and he's far enough that criminals have heard of him, but not far enough that the mainstay of people heard of him.
You don't think so? I thought he was a big thing in like the news. He's the vigilante. He has a fucking signal in the sky.
He is now. I think he's finally hit that point, but I think it's like just on the cusp of like, because that guy obviously, if everyone knew who the Batman was, that guy would have been like, oh, you're the Batman. Thank you for saving me. But instead he was like, please don't hurt me.
Oh, you know? I didn't take it like that. I thought it was that everybody knew him to the extent of like, you have to watch every little thing you do or the Batman's going to come after you.
No, I don't think that, because
I read that wrong.
That's my personal reading of the scene. But that whole sequence when he first appears, and one of the things that I love about the movie is the sound design. I'm a sound guy.
I was going to say this movie, I'm not a sound person. Obviously, the game show that we did last week, Jesse was talking about like the PA system we had, and the music coming out of it was terrible. I was like, it sounds fine to me. But he was telling me that it bothered him and it was probably going to bother you. Not a sound person. The music in this movie,
so simple, but so effective. So effective.
It was so nice. The punches, I could feel in my seat.
Everything had a weight to it. I saw it in IMAX. While the movie wasn't shot for the IMAX aspect ratio, which is actually a little bit taller than the typical cinema aspect ratio.
Okay.
The sound design was in full force for IMAX.
Man, I would have loved that.
It was sick. So every step that Pattinson's Batman takes has a solid weight to it. It's like a thumping. Doesn't matter what he's stepping on. It's always like a thick, punchy sound. Every time he hits someone, it's just everything that he does.
Wham. Yeah,
it's just like a deep hit. There's one spot that no one else in the movie probably had, or that's watching the movie had the same reaction that I did. But there's a spot where he kicks down a door near the final sequences of the movie. When he finally finds the Riddler's location, he kicks down a door, and the sound that the door made, I audibly went, because I was like, it It sounded so real, it sounded so impactful, and it perfectly encapsulated the tone of what the scene in the movie was doing. So kudos to whoever did the sound design. I didn't look it up, so I don't know. But it was just breathtaking.
It was. I loved the music. I couldn't help but the music, because there's this slope piece. They play a classical. I don't know what the classical.
Ave Maria.
That's Ave Maria. But at the very end, they play a different song that's not. It's another classical piece, I think.
Okay.
But anyways, they play that. But there's another song throughout the movie that they play that's really slowed down, and it kept reminding me of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I bet if I heard it again, I'd probably agree.
But it's like the first 5 notes, and I'm like, that's Star Wars, and then it like the last note like drops down lower than what Star Wars would, and I'm like, oh man, you were so close.
I almost did a Star Wars reference.
That's so good, but like you're saying, I wonder if he's emo and he has weight to like all of his punches and stuff. Is that the weight of his soul and all of the bad, his vengeance? Is that what that's supposed to mean?
Sounds like the kind of thing that would go up on a really pretentious girl's Instagram.
Yeah. No, but that's okay. Look, that's what this movie was. Like,
yeah, kind of, and to an extent. I think
and then he finds himself. I mean, the whole thing is at the end, he's vengeance, and then the villains, the Riddler's like henchmen, like when he's fighting him, he goes, "Who are you?" He's, "I'm vengeance." Uses his own line against him, and then he realizes that he can't be vengeance. He has to be like this hopeful character.
He has to be justice.
Yeah, he has to be justice. Like that whole arc of like, oh, I'm moody, depressed, and woe is me. And it's like, it's so emo. And then the end is like, no, I'm justice.
I agree. I think that this Batman is very emo, but I think that it lends itself.
It just reminds me of high school. I'm so sorry. And I don't like my high school, and I had a lot of people around me who were like emo and spoke like that. And so it's just very cringy to like watch it.
Mm-hmm. I loved it. I think that it was a great take. I think that it fits the gritty tone of early Batman stuff. And there is some really, really dark and like emo stories about Batman. And Bruce Wayne is truly freaking depressed in a lot of these stories because of the trauma that he's been through, the trauma that he has to constantly confront and combat in order to keep his close ones safe. Mm-hmm. You don't see it a lot in current Batman comics because a lot of Batman stuff now is all about the Bat family, like the Batgirl, Batwoman, Red Hood, Robin, and all those people. So it's nice to get another piece of media that is more about just Batman himself and his dilemmas. Yeah,
it's a very human story. Don't get me wrong. When I say this, I will say, as much as I couldn't figure out if I really liked Spider-Man No Way Home, I liked the Batman. I'm just looking at, like, if I'm really nitpicking, some of those lines and that whole undertone of it just was a bit cringy.
Yeah, I can see how people would see that. I don't agree, but I can understand that. Mm-hmm. I've also never been really exposed to people like that, nor have I ever really seen myself being like that. So I don't like connect it with as cringe as other people would. One of the things that I really liked is the tech and how not super over the top it is.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah. For the longest time, I've wanted a contact lens that can see what we see. Mm-hmm. And that's not exactly what this is. This is, it's a camera that's in a contact lens, and so you're getting like a live feed of it, and it's not like a great image.
No, it's like a fisheye lens. Yeah. So it's super like washed, like warped out and stuff.
But my dream is to have a contact lens that you could put on your eye that could then see exactly what you're seeing. I don't know how that would ever work because the human mind is so freaking crazy with such tiny neurons and everything in it.
Yeah, and all that blah,
But I just
blah.
want to compare, like, because you hear the thing about like the colors, like what if my red is different from your red? So that's what I want to know. I want to compare things like that. Plus, no, I love sunsets. I love the sky so much. And I wish that I could just take a picture that did the sky justice, like it in my eye. And the only reason that it looks so great for us is because our eye is able to take in the lightest of lights and the darkest of darks at the same time. A camera cannot do that. A camera will only pick either the darkest of darks to focus on or the lightest of lights. To see a perfect sunset, you need both of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, but the tech was simple and it was effective.
I liked the little, like his first Batarang. He doesn't ever really use a Batarang in this movie, which I'm like, okay, whatever, sure.
That's fine.
I didn't want a batarang or anything, but he does have sort of the closest thing he has to a batarang is a knife that is his insignia on his chest that he can take off, use to cut things, and then put back in the chest. And that one was probably my favorite, where I was just like, it's so practical. It's already on his costume. He doesn't have to carry anything extra. You know, like you see the bat utility belt.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah,
he didn't really have a utility belt. Like he had a couple things here and there, but he didn't have like.
But they were like built into the suit.
Yeah,
like it wasn't he had to carry anything. He didn't have a little knapsack with him.
No, and I really liked that and that integration, and I think that design of that stuff was really fun and new and interesting and not Adam West Batman-y, not like 60s. Like I've got the bat shark repellent on.
Oh yeah, nowhere close. Nobody's done anything like that since the 60s.
But I'm always afraid that maybe they'll like not fit the tone of the movies. I thought Chris Nolan's tech was a little too over the top for me. I thought that like there's a scene with the cell phone thing where they can send out a sonar from every cell phone in the building and then map a sonar of the whole building.
Oh
with that.
yeah,
stuff like that.
Okay.
I was like, that's just kind of dumb, and it's cheesy, and it doesn't quite make sense to me because like it just didn't.
And a camera and a contact lens makes sense to you?
It makes more sense than cell phones pinging to reveal sonar of the entire building.
Okay.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, at least. Maybe it is possible. Maybe they're doing it right now to us.
Probably what they're doing, honestly.
But I liked the tech a lot, and I really liked I loved the Batmobile.
Yes!
I loved the Batmobile. Oh my
god! No, oh man, I didn't get the shots that I wanted to. I got some nice ones, but I didn't get any, because after the shot happened, I was like, oh, that would have been a really cool one.
Yeah.
I just like, it's so fucking dark, but you can see like right when when it shows up, he's like in the back, and then the car, the engine. And
yeah, so the Batmobile reveal isn't until like, what, an hour into the movie?
Fucking more than that.
Hour and a half.
It's like, 2 hours into the movie.
And there's this huge, awesome car chase sequence, which I watched an interview with the director. He said that scene where the Batmobile flies through the flames is real. It's
what?
Not CG.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh
he said that
gosh.
They actually set that thing on fire and they threw a car off a ramp into the scene. And he said that was probably the hardest scene to pull off, but the one that he thinks most people would think is CG, but is not CG.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the initial reveal of every time they revealed something, whether it be a character, the Batmobile, the villain, whatever they revealed, something.
It was all done with such intention and such
intensity,
yeah,
and a real vibrance of like emotion and not even nostalgia, but like it hits you so hard as an audience member, and it's every time that they revealed something, it just like, it's so brilliant. It's so brilliantly done. And it feels not just cohesive, but like, it just feels good as an audience member. You're like, oh shit. Oh shit.
Well, I'm trying to think of all the reveals now. And so I can think the reveal with Batman, he comes out of the shadows. You have the reveal of the Riddler, the very like first, like hiding behind the guy he's about to kill. You have Catwoman, right? That's who that is. Just making sure, double checking.
Yeah.
We have her when she walks in. You see her heels, and like the click of her heels is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
The Batmobile, but the Penguin, he just shows up. Like he just kind of like taps Batman on the shoulders, like, "Hey man, you looking for me?"
But sometimes, and it's not even just the initial reveal of the Batman. Like there are multiple shots and multiple sequences along the movie where Batman is quote revealed again, or where Batman shows up. Like when he's
always coming out of the shadows.
Yeah, when he comes out of the elevator and then he fucking kills the lights, and then all you see is whenever the flashes are shooting.
Oh yes, brilliant.
When the Batmobile flies through the flames, that reveal, like everything, every time something new is like happens or something interesting happens in a sequence and you see something come out of the shadows or come out of the fire or come out of from around the corner or whatever happens, it's all done with such intense and intentional cinematography and
it's
style.
All built up, and I think the way, because like everything is revealed that way, but it's the tension leading up to it that makes it.
Like for example, so there's the scene when the Batmobile is revealed. They're having a shootout. The police and Catwoman and Batman and the Penguin's goons that are the drug people. They're all shooting at each other. and they round the corner, like the Penguin rounds the corner, or someone rounds the corner to get to the Batman to shoot him, and he's not there. And then in the background, you just hear the car's engine revving.
Yeah.
And then it revs like 5 or 6 times. And then the flames from the engine are what reveal the car. And then it turns to the back and you see the supercharged like engine on the back. And then you see the whole car drive after him. That reveal is great. It's all about intentional, like the sound design behind it too. Because the initial Batman reveal,
they rely heavily on sound. All of these like reveals are like on sound because you hear them before you see them.
And that's brilliant when it comes to like tension building and like the anticipation of it. Because when you first hear the Batman, it's all the steps and stuff.
I think it's so interesting that you bring up steps. And there's this dichotomy that I wanted to talk about as well between like the Batman and Catwoman. Where I like when they first meet, like he's like, she's broken into the house, he like pins her down, and then at the end when they're fighting or when something happens, she's like on top of him. Then I love that dichotomy. You're talking about like the heaviness of like his steps and his punches, and then she's so light and she's so
light,
so like
her footsteps
mobile and so flexible and just so different. Where he's like stable and weighted and down, she's up here and just it's so.
Like her footsteps aren't always like you can't always hear them. They're always the either if she's wearing heels, it's a click, clack, click, clack.
She's like the most of the movie she's wearing heels. Like she's always clicking, clacking.
And then his boots have such a thump to them. I just love it. I love it so much. I think that the sound design is really what sold the movie for me.
I think it's a big plus. If I notice the sound in a movie, you did good because I don't notice anything. I don't know the sound.
You want to talk about the acting?
We can. But I think we're going to defer. But go ahead.
I love Paul Dano.
Who's that?
Riddler.
Yeah. He was great. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Loved him.
I loved their take on the Riddler. They're basing him off of... Are you good?
I was about to fight somebody. Finish what you're saying. I'm going to fight somebody.
I love the take on the Riddler because it's like a grittier take and it's based off of a real life serial killer.
Who?
The Zodiac Killer.
I'm so excited for a new serial killer.
I want a new crime thing to listen to. God, I need a new serial killer.
I've listened to them all. Somebody out there.
Kill someone.
No. Just find another one. Let's catch one.
Catch one.
I know they're out there. But somebody just catch another one.
But their choice to base them off the Zodiac Killer and all the clues that he left behind, as well as Paul Dano's delivery of all of the lines that he's given. Most of the time, he's not even wearing his mask. But it's so funny to me that when he's wearing his mask, he feels like such a different person. And then he takes it off. And I love their choice of Paul Dano because Paul Dano's just some dude who's he just looks like some dude, which is such a perfect vibe for the Riddler because the Riddler's just some fucking dude. He's just some dude that loves riddles and killing people and sending messages.
I don't want to keep backtracking. You'll hear it next episode, but we talked about mysteries, but we're going to flip-flop how these episodes come out. And we were talking about, you didn't like the fact in the episode you talked about that it was just like some guy. But, and I wanted to bring up Batman, but like the Riddler is just some guy. But it works in this case. It works
here because because of the way that it's delivered. I think that in the thing that I talk about in the next episode that you guys are going to hear, the guy that was just some guy had no connection to anything that was going on. He was completely outside of the plot.
There was the Riddler. I loved how they brought him into the story and the fact that he had the same. I love that whole idea of because this is what I wanted. When I went into the movie, there was like 3 things in particular that I really wanted. I wanted a more serious Batman. I wanted to see the grime, the dirt, the depression, which I think we got. I wanted to see more muddied morals, which I think we got to some extent, but not exactly what I was looking for. I wanted to end the movie ambiguously wondering, okay, who was really the bad man of this movie? Was Batman really the bad guy or was the Riddler? Because the Riddler, okay, we already said spoilers. The big mob boss or the guy who's like been running the whole city is brought into the light. The rat is brought into the light. That's the whole thing. And then the Riddler shoots him. That whole scene was phenomenal to me. And I think the Riddler really understands Batman and that Batman wants to take down crime, but would never kill somebody. He needed Batman to find the guy to bring him to justice, but his justice of killing him. And I wish that that's where we would have ended it. He's dead. We have this. Okay, so who was the bad guy? He killed the bad guy, but he had to kill the bad guy. He didn't give him justice. You know what I'm saying? I really wanted muddied. I wanted gray. I didn't want good and evil, which is what we got. It's fine.
That's the thing, though. Batman doesn't really. I don't know. I don't want to say he doesn't muddy morals, but he doesn't kill. That's his line.
I know. I wanted to see that broken.
But that's the thing. That's not Batman. Batman doesn't kill. The reason that he fights for justice is because of what happened to him, because that his parents were killed, and because he doesn't want anyone to have to go through that again. If he kills someone, he breaks the very thing that he stands for.
I know.
Which is to not put someone else's family through the loss of losing a loved one. And so he can't kill.
I just wanted something, and this is what I was talking about with Chris before we started. I just kind of wanted something new for the sake of being new, which I know is not the best. Don't get me wrong. The movie was phenomenal. I'm just nitpicking and like, it's my opinion, okay? So shut up.
Yeah, shut
up. It was great. I wanted something. I wanted to be taken aback. The last thing is I wanted to leave the theater feeling something. I wanted to feel confused. I wanted to feel empowered. I wanted to feel like deeply sad. I wanted to feel something. I don't think I got to the intensity that I wanted, which is okay. I still felt something. It was still a phenomenal movie, and when I left, I left very hopeful, which is the whole thing. Obviously, again, you start in this very like dark and depressing place, and then Batman himself comes into the light. The movie, or the big thing, he's helping people out of the flood, and you have this beautiful like sunrise behind him, and he's come out of the shadows.
Yeah, he's into the light. People are noticing him. He's on the news as like Gotham's vigilante, helps people out of the whatever.
Which is fine, but I wanted darkness.
And it'll come back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because they already have plans to make the Batman 2 and to continue. They actually had initially a plan to do a spin-off TV series of the Gotham.
I would much rather see that.
Really? But it wasn't going to be Batman, it was going to be Gotham. It was going to be like the Gotham PD, like
not the police force, but I want to see how Gotham runs. I want to follow a villain, and I want them to be scared the whole time that Batman could show up. You know.
But I want to go back to the acting, because
sorry.
I just love Paul Dano's delivery. I feel like
his smile is incredible.
I don't think there's a single piece that Paul Dano has been in that hasn't been extremely influential to my storytelling. His ability to take in this character, to become such, like, at the end when he's been revealed and him and Batman are having that conversation, and he's like, we're the same person. We want the same thing. We both want vengeance. We both want justice. And together we can help each other do that. Batman's like, you're doing it wrong. Like, your side of things is wrong. He's just like he's broken because this entire time.
Yep.
He thought they wanted the same thing. He was like, you and I were working together. All the clues were there. You were following them. You were doing the things that we said that we were going to do, and we did them together. You and I. And he's like, no, you're a bad guy. And his just complete crack of his whole world. And you see that in the character, and you see that in his acting. Oh, it's so, so good and so beautiful. I love Paul Dano. Please be in more movies.
It was really good. And that's what because I was going to fight somebody. I'm bringing it back. The people who were sitting next to me, I told you they were laughing the whole time. That was one of the things that they particularly kept laughing at, was because whenever the Riddler would do his upset moaning, or he's cracked. And so he's pacing back and forth, and he's upset.
Having a panic attack.
Yeah. They kept laughing. I was like, what is funny about this? What this man, like, he is evil. He is deranged. He has just, like, his whole worldview has been cracked. And you look at the noises that he's making and think that they are funny? It made me really, really upset. But his acting is phenomenal, and I love they had a lot of similarities, and that's why I wanted the tension at the end to be muddy. They were both orphans, but the thing is that they're the two sides of the
same coin. Like, Batman could have gone down that direction had one thing been wrong, or and all that stuff. I mean, it's so good. It's such a good movie. It's such a good Batman movie. It's brought superhero movies to the next level, like cinematography. Like cinematically, cinematographical.
Cinematically.
Yeah, cinematically. My brain is completely shut off.
We got 7 minutes left.
I know, and I'm trying to wrap it up.
Oh no, I still got 2 things to talk about.
Okay. I think that the cinematography is a step to the next level. The things that they did in this movie, the shots that they chose, the things that they went with were brilliantly framed. I loved. They were upside down shots. The camera movements were really good.
I loved
the framing,
the shallow depth of field. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. There are so many scenes where something is going on in the background and you don't know what it is because it's just so out of focus. And we're looking at one little, like the barrel of a gun, or we're looking at, I don't know, the engine exhaust, the car exhaust pipe, or we're looking at the murder weapon on the ground. I loved it.
Shallow depth of field is a great way to make your movie look cinematic, just because it's something that people don't know how to do if you don't have training in that. So figure out how to do it on your camera, and use it to your advantage.
Beautiful. And it goes with like the ambiguity of there's so much like that we're not
able to see.
That we just, because it happens in the shadows, you know?
It happens in the dark.
Happens in the dark.
You can't see what happens in the dark.
It's like, I don't know, it's something that we're not meant to see, but that we know is going on. It's like crime. It's just how crime happens. We don't actively see it in our day-to-day lives. You turn on the news and you hear that it's happened, but you know that it's happening somewhere because crime never stops. And it's something that, like, this is what the Batman, this is what he has to do. Like, he is actively out there pursuing, finding these things that are hidden, that are muddied, that are out of focus, trying to bring them into the light, trying to bring them to justice. And so good. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, I love the cinematography. Again, with the dichotomy between the two, Batman and Catwoman are the only two that get like behind the shot, behind the head shots, shallow depth of field of them like just walking. He's like on his motorcycle riding through town giving like his narration, and then when she's in like the drug club, like it's behind the scene of her walking and like she has to look at all these men.
Oh, I love that sequence.
Oh,
that was
so
super
good.
Fun. And the sequence where he's like, look back at that person. She's like, I can't look back at that person. That's going to open up a can of worms. And he's like, I need you to do it because I'm Batman. And she's like, whatever. That
was the other thing. She went along with him way too much. Okay, that was the next thing I want to talk about is their like love story. Don't like it.
Didn't like it.
I love love. I love love. Where did it come from?
Where did it go?
Where did it come from? And where did it go?
Where did it come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
She like there's a line like she's fighting him, or yeah, because they meet in the house. She's trying to steal a passport back. She's gotten into the safe, and he like steals the passport. It's fucking high school. I'm so sorry. There's so many things in this movie that's just high school. He grabs the passport from her, and then they start like fighting, and he pins her down or whatever. And then like she realizes, oh, he's stronger than me. I can't fight him. And then they get back up, and she's like, give me that. And it's like, what? Sorry.
Give me that.
That's literally how she says it. It's literally like she tries to reach for it and he like moves out of the way and she's like, give me that. It's like, what? I mean, really, what is it? Just, and then after that, they're like in love. He like stalks her and like watches her undress. And then like, I don't know.
Oh, that was so funny to me. I thought it was a little rushed. I think
it's high school. Sorry.
I think that they could have let it last a little longer, or taken it a little slower.
I think that
had more interaction to build up to the love scene.
I would have liked more. I would have liked it slower pace. I get what they had to get in and out. I get it.
Yeah, they shoved a lot into the story. I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think that there is definitely like the connection there that you see them sort of move on, and it's definitely like what you see in the comics where it's just like, so Selena Kyle doesn't know who the Batman is, but she loves the Batman. She loves what the Batman is, and she doesn't necessarily love Bruce Wayne. She loves the Batman, and so she has this infatuation with him and what he does, and the way that he does it because he's hot, and he is.
That was the other thing. Was this, as much as this is another, like, I get it, okay? I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. This was a very like sexualized like Batman because of the love story. I think and that also has to do with Robert Pattinson because I know him from like Twilight, and in that he's very much like the aloof, the mysterious, and like the pretty boy.
I think he's the same thing in this movie that he is in that, but it fits better in this movie than it does there.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that one. But I just didn't like, I mean, it's just all the love, and it's the sexual tension that like comes out of nowhere, and it's just, I don't know. That's where I was going to say we're going to differ on acting, was I felt that I love Robert Pattinson. I think he did a great job in this movie, but there were some scenes when it came to the love aspects where I was like, this isn't it. This isn't, no.
I'm not sure quite. I'm sure I'm not Explain.
So like in the during the tension like scenes when they're like when he's I can only see him in Twilight, and I guess because in that movie his acting isn't like when it comes to the meme when he first sees Bella and he like has this like moment of like, oh my god, I can smell her and I love her or whatever. Like I got that in this movie as well, where from the first moment that he sees her he's kind of like, I love her and I want to be with her forever. And it's like,
I didn't pick that. I think it's more of what I saw, and I'm also a dude, so like I'm not seeing the same. We see things differently, and that's what's interesting about our dynamic. Is because we're different people. But I think that when he saw her as a potential, like, you might know stuff. At least in my, and also there's like,
no.
To me, this Batman is very like lonely and very in need of a woman in his life. You know what I'm saying?
Does he need a woman?
But there's like,
he needs a friend.
But he wants a woman
women in there for the sake of throwing women in there.
That's fair. I agree. I think that there's different things that you can do, but I will also say that I think that the choice.
I was gonna say something really bad. I was gonna. Okay.
I like the two of them, and I like that scene where he sees her for the first time, and he's like, that's like, I think he saw her more as like the informant, because then he initially right after that is like, well, I'm gonna go ask her questions because she
and
knows
then
things.
Immediately gets jealous when she's walking in the club and has to stare at these guys, and like, what does she have to do with who's the big guy, Marconi or whatever, Falcone or something? And he's like, what does she have to do with Falcone? Like, what is? It's like he's freaking out, like he's already like jealous that she's like.
That's not jealous. It's that she's connected to a crime boss.
I read it as jealous.
Maybe it's supposed to be read both ways. He thought it was
a relationship, and he's like the big like tension between the two when they're on like in the building or whatever, like the skyscraper. He's like, what is your connection to Falcone? Like, what do you need this money from him or whatever? And then he's like, he's my dad. And the look of like, oh fuck, I got that one wrong. Like,
world's greatest
I thought
detective.
y'all were fucking, like, I don't know.
No, I can see how you could see it that way, and I personally saw it as like,
okay,
he's connected to him.
Maybe
she's connected to a mob boss.
Too much into it then.
I wouldn't even say that. I just didn't see it that way when I watched it. I saw it as like, oh, she's connected to a crime boss. But I can see the tint of jealousy there. But I think it was, to me, what I read was more about like, oh, she's connected to a mob boss. What the fuck are you doing? Why am I working with a connected to a mob boss person? What's your in? But
there was also the protection that came along with it of like after that talk on the skyscraper, he's like, oh, watch out for yourself. Or like, I'll be there. Like, you don't have to do it. I'm gonna go take care of it. And she's like, I can take care of myself. And it's like, you have to see what I'm saying. I see it.
Okay, I see it. I'm connecting.
I was just, and then the ending, like it's so fucking emo. It's so high school. They both like they're driving their motorcycles and they're having like a little race of like who's gonna get there first.
I saw that. That was pretty dumb. That was really dumb.
They're trying to get who's gonna get there first, and then they get to like where they diverge. And I literally saw them go down the tunnel, and then it's a dead end. And I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. One of them's gonna go left and one of them's gonna go right. Don't do it. Let's just come on. And then they didn't. And then he looks back and I'm like, what is this? What is this? Why? Y'all just threw a love plot in there for no reason and then hit every single fucking cliche that you could.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I think that you got secondhand embarrassment because you're seeing a lot of yourself in the Batman.
Look, man!
Sure, I might dress up at night as a bat and go fight crime, but that doesn't mean I'm like the Batman.
Look, man, I'm not saying you're wrong, but...
So, are we doing the recommendations on this or not?
What the fuck would we recommend?
Batman.
Go watch the Batman. It's good, and then agree with me that it's very cringy.
No, go see the movie if you haven't already for some reason, or if you have seen the movie.
No, because people who have gotten this far have already seen the movie, unless they actually didn't really care and just wanted spoilers. Yeah. If you're doing that, go see the movie. If you've already seen it, go see it again and look out for the things that we've talked about.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's going to be such an influential movie to superhero cinema moving forward. It did a lot of different things, and I liked it. I want to go see it again. I do, so bad.
go see it again.
Go see it. Let's go see it again. Let's go watch it together, you and I, and then we can laugh at all the parts that aren't funny and annoy the people next to us.
Let's please.
I'll fall asleep in the front row after smoking 3 cigars, and then 2.5 hours into the movie, you come over and say, "Wake the fuck up," and then slap me.
Okay. Plot twist. That really was us. Like, that's what happened to us. We found like a time machine and we're like, you know what would be fucking funny? Let's go back to when Randy went to the movies by herself and let's
wake the fuck up.
Wake the fuck up. Oh my god.
All right, thanks so much for joining us on this intellectual journey. We hope to catch you guys in the next one with more Batman related content.
We're gonna watch more Batman stuff?
I think that we should just become solely a Batman podcast.
I would be fine with that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, next week, Batman. The week after that, Batman. And then the week after that, expect more Batman from us on the forecast.
Bye.
Media for the Intellectually Impoverished is hosted by Trey Taylor Smith and Miranda Randy Zapes.
Produced by Cam Ritchie and edited by Kat Trapella.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at MFTII Podcast.
Subscribe to our YouTube at Media for the Intellectually Impoverished or email us at mftiipodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening.